Good morning, YouTube Pipers. Actually, good afternoon, YouTube Pipers. Double O Pipe here, aka Rick, and I just got something in the mail I wanted to share. It was from Paladin Piper, and it was from the Pipe Nook, and it is I got some filters, activated charcoal filters, to put in this brand new pipe. New to me. I don't know if it's smells new. But it's a Peterson Phoenix. Nice brown stem. Rusticated. Nice bowl. Big. Hold a lot. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Right off the bat, right now, after pulling it out of its sock, I'm going to shove some Codger in it. I have decided that, being the true codger I am, which, by the way, the box was addressed to Rick Croucher, original codger. I thought that was right funny. Tickled me to death. Well, let me see if I can use my handy dandy here to pry this. There you go. Boy, that baby was on there tight. That's a nice smell. Well, we're going to see right now how this thing smokes. It's a pretty pipe. I thank you, Pat. I thank you a lot. I appreciate it. I wasn't expecting this. I know you said you had something in the mail, but I sure wasn't expecting this. I don't think I forgot to fill this up, so I don't, nah, it's not working. Okay, I think that should do that. I have been going through all my stuff in the back, trying to what's the word I'm looking for? Trying to cut back so that I can make that room efficient for painting. I want to go back to painting. And the only way to do that is to get some room. And the only way to get room is to well, that filter kind of makes it hard to draw through. But we're going to figure it out. That Codger's good stuff. Anyway, I shipped out quite a bit of the tobacco I bought over the last few months. because I don't think I'm going to get to smoke it. I've kept my Carter Hall, I've kept my Velvet, I think I kept my Prince Albert, and a few others. But a few others I sent out. Hang on for a minute, I'm going to put some gas in this thing. I just don't seem to have a whole lot of luck with it. Sorry. I don't mean to waste y'all's time with this. That seems to work. Well, I was notified today that this weekend we're due a big storm. Lots of rain, possible flooding. Nice pipe. Thanks, Pat. I appreciate that. I'm going to put one of those little rubber bits on it, and that'll help me to clamp it good. These old teeth don't seem to be even enough to clamp it right without that rubber thing on it. I spent the morning making cookies because I miss having cookies around the house. Toll House cookies. I'm sure everybody's familiar with Toll House cookies. Well, I followed the directions up to a point. I dumped everything into the bowl. The butter obviously wasn't soft enough, so I had big clumps of butter all over. I was supposed to mix up certain ingredients with the mixer and then put in the chocolate chips and the pecans. Well, I just dumped everything into a big bowl. And nearly burned up the mixer running it through because it got all clumped up. I had to put it under the heat of the oven just to help melt the butter a little bit because it was just in, like I say, in big chunks all through it. There was flour coating the bottom. I was stirring it, trying to get it all mixed up. And the chocolate chips weren't those little tiny things. They were those humongous chocolate chips. So they were getting caught in the mixer Excuse me. I spent a good hour trying to mix that stuff up. If I had done it like the recipe said, instead of just dumping everything into the bowl, it would have been a lot quicker and a lot easier to mix. Yeah, that quart of hulls. That's good in there. Boy. Well, tomorrow I've got some stuff I want to make. I might follow the directions a little bit more precisely this next time. But I was going to try and make some chocolate covered turtles. I don't know if y'all know what those are or not. But I just got this bug to bake or something. I don't know what's wrong with me. But they turned out pretty good. They're not bad at all. They taste kind of like what I remember they tasted like. I took this cookie jar down, and the top was plastic, and it was so old and had been sitting up there for so long that when I tried to turn it, the top just blew all over the place. So that's why it has tin foil on it instead of an actual screw on top. So, but they taste pretty good. There must be at least 2 dozen, maybe 2.5 dozen cookies came out. I ate a lot of raw dough. I ate a lot of cookies. I drank more coffee, which usually my limit on the coffee is 3 cups during the day. I think that was either my 4th or my 5th cup. I don't know. But now I've got raw cookie dough, 6 or 7 of these cookies, and 2 cups of coffee in my system. And, geez. I don't know what to think about it. If the turtles turn out okay, I'll let you know. I don't know. Oh, jeepers. I was really surprised to see this package in the mail. I really was. But I appreciate it, and I thank you very much. I also got, I can never find a calendar that's worth a toot, but I need one that I can write appointments up on things to hang up on the wall so I can see it. And I need a big one so I can see it well. So this year, the only thing I could really find that was interesting was this. Usually I have Akitas, pictures of Akitas, the dogs, because I love Akitas. But I can't find one that's really got decent pictures of the Akitas anymore. They used to have them at PetSmart, but they stopped selling calendars with dogs' pictures on them. I don't know why. Anyway, well, back when I was a kid, we used to go, as you know, I've told you many times, we used to go to Georgia at Christmas time to spend it with family. And I remember we used to, before we would go, the night before, we would go around to those members of the family that were going to other families for Christmas. I don't know why, it always seems that you go to your mother's parents for reunions and things. Maybe that's just, I don't know if that's the way it was with y'all or not. But usually, for a 2-hour ride, my parents would buy $1 worth of funny books, comic books they call them today, graphic novels, I don't know. Some kind of highfalutin name for comic books, funny books. But they would get me $1 worth, which would be about 10 of them, because they cost a dime a piece. Now I would have those. I couldn't touch them until the day that we went. We would usually go, I don't know if it was the day before Christmas Eve or Christmas. It was either the day before Christmas Eve or Christmas Eve. We would drive down to Georgia, to Clio, Georgia, which when people ask me where that is, I'll say east of Luray. And they'll say, you know any other place? And I'll say, it's close to Springfield. Anyway, we would go, and I remember this one night, it was right here, there's an area called the Terrace down the street, and my cousins lived there. And we went there this particular Christmas Eve. Or Christmas Eve, I'm not sure which. Had presents for them. Drove up in the yard, walked up to the door. Dad rang the bell. We were holding presents for everybody in the house. It was a chill in the air, so I was standing there going, trying to blow smoke rings. Excuse me. Like my dad did with his Luckies. I was trying to do it with your breath as it condenses in the air and you can see it in the cold. Never could blow a smoke ring that way, but I tried. And my aunt would answer the door and Dad would say, we're here to bring these because we're going to Georgia tomorrow. And she would always say, come in, we've got some hot chocolate on the stove, and we can sit down and talk while we have a cup of that. So we'd go inside, have our hot chocolate, and I'd go play with my cousins, and my parents would talk with my aunt and uncle. And it was about time to leave, and I'd walk outside just to try and blow smoke rings again. And I'd look up in the sky and try and imagine what the sky must have looked like when the Star of Bethlehem was up there. It was supposed to be very bright, you know, shining down on the earth where Jesus' birthplace was. And I saw a bright star, and it seemed to get brighter and brighter. And I kept looking at it, and I heard the door open and close, and my parents said, okay, son, it's time to go. And I shook myself and walked with them to the car, and I asked my mother, what does the Star of Bethlehem look like? She said, I said, does it look like that up there? And she said, well, that's the North Star. That's the brightest star that we can see. I said, no. I mean the other one, the one that was so bright just a minute ago. And she said, no, that's the only one that's up in the sky right now. And I said, Mama, I know I saw a brighter star than that. It had to be the Star of Bethlehem. And she said, well, maybe you just imagined it. I said, well, it sure was bright for an imagination, but it wasn't there anymore, so maybe it was my imagination. But it made me think of the manger and a baby wrapped in swaddling clothes and the shepherds come to worship and the cow in the background and the sheep near the baby's crib or manger, and Mary leaning over the babe, and Joseph kind of standing in the background like fathers always do. And it just brought to mind all those things, and my imagination, it just became more and more real in my head. And we went home and got up the next morning, packed the car, got ourselves ready. I got in the back seat with my stack of funny books and read all the way down to Clio, Georgia. Good times. Clyde was usually there already when we got there. Christmas is, gosh, about a week and a half away. I miss those reunions with family. I hope on my passing that my family will be there to greet me. I hope. We can always hope. I like my new pipe. I thank you, Pat. I appreciate it. I hope you like the things I sent you. 7 pounds of goodies. All right, I'll talk to y'all again another day. Take care of yourselves. Have a good Christmas. I think I'll be on before Christmas again. But if I'm not, if something happens, y'all have a good Christmas. And until the next time, God bless and goodbye.